How are you as the student assessed in service learning? That's the next section in the packet. We have a number of rubrics or scales we use, and those are the various forms at the back of your packet. We're not going to look at them right now, but make sure you take a look at them so you know how you would be evaluated at the end of each service learning experience. Now let's look at the process of getting into a service learning class. You'll have to apply, and this is part of the application process, watching the orientation. On page 2 towards the middle are a number of steps. Go through the orientation, fill out the paperwork, then I, as the service learning coordinator, or if there's another faculty member doing that, will present your packet to the department, the faculty members in the department, the full-time faculty, and then we will determine if you can proceed doing the placement. Once you are approved to do the placement, then you work with the coordinator, again, either myself or somebody else, and you would coordinate with an agency and organization to fill out the agreement form, and that is on page 10 in your packet. You can look at it later at your leisure. There's a number of other forms in the packet relate to your actually completing your service learning. Signed logs are on page 20. In doing a service learning experience, each of the three I mentioned, 290, 390, and 490, each one involves 120 contact hours. And if you divide that up over a 15-week semester, that's 8 contact hours a week. So you need to be planning ahead that you're free to volunteer at some site for a full day a week, or say 2 half days. Another part of field placements or service learnings is meeting all the prerequisites. That's on page 3. You have to be a declared human services major to do HS 290. You need to be an advanced sophomore to do 390, an advanced junior to do 490, an advanced senior. You have to meet the minimum GPA standards of 2.0, and higher is always better. You have to be recommended as ready by 2 human services instructors. And there's a form, page 5 in your packet, that we require you to take to those instructors and fill out. So follow the directions at the bottom of that page. That gives the department picture from 2 different instructors as to your preparation for doing a human services service learning experience. Next on page 3 is a section that it looks at your personal status. In order to be ready to do a service learning experience, you need to be intellectually, spiritually, physically, ethically, legally, and morally fit to do a placement. Not only doing a placement, but to be employed in the human services profession. So there's a major segment on page 3 which addresses law violations that may pose barriers, delays, or even or restrictions to doing service learning. So you want to carefully read over that. If you have any kind of legal background issues, be they big or small, we expect to be fully informed about that, and you need to report that on page 6 of your service learning packet. That's the self-disclosure statement. Matter of fact, there's 10 questions on that page. We expect you to spend some time completely filling that out so we have a complete picture of you and your background. It's important to appreciate the fact that service learning organizations are providing the experience to you as the student as a courtesy to you and to St. Aglushka University. So we really need to be mindful of the agency's requirements. And in this day and age, every agency I can think of does a background check. And so that's why it's really important for you to fill out this paperwork completely and accurately, because agencies want to know your background. And truth of the matter is, there may be some things in an individual student's background that could be a barrier to doing a placement. And we need to know that now rather than later. So filling out page 6, your disclosure statement, and page 7, your consent to release statements, are critical elements of your application packet. Site preferences, you get to indicate your preferences as far as which site you want to work at. That's at the bottom of page 4 and in your packet. And to complete your full application, you need to be mindful of that involves pages 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All those pages need to be completely filled out by you, and including 2 page 5s, because those are that's the evaluation page by instructor. So you need 2 of those pages. Put them all together and submit them to the service learning coordinators. So all those items are required to be completed. The department will not act on your application until we have everything in front of us for us to fully get a full picture of you and your background and what your interests are. Again, I want to emphasize that for level 3 HS 490, malpractice insurance is required, and so there will be an additional page for students wanting to do HS 490, an additional document to fill out to apply for malpractice liability insurance. That should be part of your student lab fee for the class. Another trick question to throw in the mix: what's the name of my dog? My very favorite one and only dog's name is Shelby. When it comes to filling out these applications, pages 4 to 8, I want to emphasize each time you do a service learning, levels 1, 2, and 3, you need to fill the application out completely again. Now I know that may be a repeat, but we have a lot of students whose circumstances change, you know, from semester to semester, year to year. We also have students who stretch out their undergraduate education over maybe 7, 8, 10 years. So we require for each and every time you want to do a placement, before you enroll, ideally a couple months before you enroll, get this paperwork filled out and submit it. Additionally, for those of you at level 1 who are interested in level 1 HS 290, if you want to apply for past relevant work experience, you need to look at pages 13 to 15 in the packet and fill that out also. So pages 13 to 15. When it comes to doing all this paperwork, when is the time frame? Well, we'd like it at least a month before registration. Ideally even before, but at least a month is best because we need to get the complete packet in, we need to evaluate it as a department and reach a consensus on approval. We need to identify a site that will likely work for you and a site that will welcome you. We need to have that all sorted out before you enroll. That about wraps up my presentation on service learning. I know this was rather fast and dirty over the video. I urge you to look over the packet of materials completely, fill out the relevant pages, bring them in to either myself as the service learning coordinator or future semesters. There may be another instructor identified as a coordinator. Bring them in if you have questions. I believe that concludes it.